Hi, my name is Shannon, and today we will be talking about the consent form and comparing one that I found from Texas to the ACA Code of Ethics and to my home state of Oklahoma. So the consent form that I found from the state of Texas was very parallel to the ACA Code of Ethics as far as confidentiality, scope of practice, multicultural awareness, how therapy works, the process, scheduling, fees, exceptions to confidentiality, expectations of confidentiality, and it even talked about the confidentiality within the counselor and their peers, stating that confidentiality will be maintained as best as possible, but if confidentiality was ever breached, the peer is also required to maintain confidentiality. So there was a little bit of a discussion about, safety and feeling like things will be handled correctly, which I appreciated. Also, the counselor did a great job of discussing some of the things that might happen in the community, even as far as if they see each other in public, to try not to feel that the counselor is being rude when they do not acknowledge that client. If the client feels like they can say hi, that's great. But if the client does not want to say hi to that counselor, no hard feelings, and that is completely fine. But to not expect the counselor to reach out to them in a public setting. And I thought that was a great addition as well. One thing that was mentioned that took me off guard was the referral process. In the first statement given in the informed consent for the state of for this specific practice in the state of Texas, it talked about if the client and the counselor were not a good match, then the counselor did not hesitate to refer out. Now, according to the ACA Code of Ethics and all that we've been learning with, the legality of referring out, that is a very broad statement to be made. It could be being used to, for something to discuss later, or I feel like it could also be used to be a scapegoat for maybe a moral difference or ethical difference, which we should not be referring out to. Now, according to McGeorge, Carlson, and Farrell in 2015, they did a great job of talking about some of the repercussions of referring out for ethical or moral reasons and the importance of ethical bracketing. So I don't know if the statement in the beginning really was because, I don't know. It was a very broad statement, but it made me think about we really need to be careful how we word things because we never want to give anybody the idea that we're just going to refer out willy-nilly and they cannot feel safe with the counselor. And we don't ever want to come off as they need to be cautious about what they talk to us about because, they don't want it to be not a good match, if you know what I'm saying. Hopefully that's not confusing, but it really did take me off guard. So that's something to be careful about. I don't know if it should be reworded. I don't know what the counselor is going to do, in the office. There are a lot of variations that could be happening with that single statement. I feel like that compared to the state of Oklahoma, this consent form would have been perfect for the state of Oklahoma. It covers everything that our regulations talk about. Our regulations really cover a broad range as well. It states the informed consent portion exactly word for word on A.2.8 of the Code of Ethics, and also talks about some of the things that we need to do as far as giving information about our training, our scope of practice, fees, and scheduling. So those are some similarities and differences between the consent form, the ACA Code of Ethics, and my state of Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma doesn't have a lot of crazy ideas or philosophies when it comes to the informed consent. It's very generic, so that's why my answer is kind of generic. But anyways, thank you for listening, and I look forward to talking and hearing all of you. Bye.